Hello everybody, it has been a long time since I've done a live video. August just ended up being one of the busiest times, the busiest months for me. We have a special guest. We don't have a name for it yet, but he just kind of like wandered into my house when my son was leaving the house. We don't know if we can keep him because we have birds, and we're taking every measure as we possibly can to help my husband not having a reaction to him because my husband's allergic to cats. But yeah, take a look at him again. What would you call him? It's a boy. Anyways, he's going to be joining me in my room because everybody's going to be too busy to keep him out of trouble with the birds. So if you hear a little jingle in the background, that's him. Anyways, we're doing voting for the competition right now, and that is in the the Facebook group, Vinci Eye App's Facebook group. So please vote. All the instructions on how to vote and how it all works is in the post. I've reposted it a few times, so just look for the link. If you want to try the Vinci Eye app for free for a year, there is a link in the the description of this video. So click the link and use the capital charity for all the letters are capitals when you click the link, and you should have it for free for a year. And that's for iOS. If you have Android, just please email me. My email is also in the description as well. So here we go, let's get started. So I went to my saved projects and just clicked on the one that we're working on today. And just to show you a little bit about it is that this scribbly thing is the anchor. This is what locks the image into place. Even if I move the phone or my drawing surface, it will still stay aligned. You can adjust the sizing of your image when you press the move button. If you accidentally move it when the move button's there, just press the reverse button. Oh, come on. And then it should line up again. There it goes, it's lined up. Make sure the move is off when you're zooming in and out. So the move should be black. So you can zoom in to find details, zoom out. You can adjust the opacity so you can see your pencil better if you need to. Or my favorite tool is I put out the opacity to the fullest, go into strobe, turn on strobe, and then I'll show you your reference photo back and forth to your drawing so that you can get all the little details. So it's like it's like spot the difference, and you can get all the little differences. What else? You can record your process. Ow, you little stinker. Hey, don't scratch me. Ow! Okay, so if you press the record and then turn that on, you can press start recording, and then the second time you do that, I will ask you if you want to restart the recording or continue off where you left off. So you can do this at multiple sessions from beginning to end. So it'll just give you the view, the overhead view. It won't show the reference photo when you do that. Stop that. Okay. Oh. So we're going to continue on. We're just doing the back part of the top of the car, and then we'll move on to the silver parts. I like to have the reference photo on another device. This way I can do some color matching a little bit easier. And also for the colored pencils, it's nice to get when you get a new pencil set, always make a color splotch, a color chart here. So you color in each rectangle. Some suggestions are doing it nice and hard pressure and then lighter so you can see the different shades, making it easier to see which colors you're going to need. And then I put the number of the pencil, which is on the pencil, and then the name of the pencil. So it makes it easier to find those. I am using Faber-Castell pencils, polychromes, but you can use whatever you'd like to. Okay, so here we go. Let's get started. We are going to start with the lightest color we can find, which the lightest color in the area, which is kind of a bright yellow. Actually, there's a bit of a cream color in there too. I am just going to use generic colors instead of telling you the exact colors, because I want you to not worry about having the same pencil set as I do. So this is a very soft, like pastel color. We're going to do tight, light pressure, circular motions, and we're going to preserve the white area. So don't trace over the white. Hi, Raven. Yeah, it's been a long time. I really do apologize. It's been a hectic month for me. Hailstorm, which was just before our little vacation. I was also sick before that, and then we went on vacation, and then I forgot it was my birthday, and we had something, like we went out for dinner and stuff. So, yeah. I just barely gotten over, like I was feeling quite drained until recently from all the stuff that's been happening. So, yeah, I am back. Last Tuesday I did a market, which was quite fun. Now I'm using a yellow, and we're just going to get those really bright areas here. We're just doing some light layers so we can add as much color as we can, getting the right shades and everything before we put too much pressure on the page, so that we can continue on playing around with the color. I'm not just looking at the app, I'm also looking at the phone that I have the image on, and just back and forth, looking directly at the page too. So just go in between the two, or between the three. I want to show you this little critter that walked into my house a few days ago. Look at him. Look at him! My husband's allergic and we have birds, but my husband's going to try everything he can to handle it. He was trying to climb up on me earlier. It's kind of funny because I find that a lot of artists do have cats. I don't know why, but that's what I seem to like. That's what I seem to notice when I'm watching other artists on YouTube. No, I don't know if you saw him. Here's the kitty. The kitty cat. He's so cute. He's so calm most of the time. He does chase the birds every so often. So just light pressure and circular motions to help with doing consistent light pressure. Hold your pencil at the end. Just give me a second. Like close to the end here instead of right up close to the tip. That helps with keeping it nice and light. I'm going to go with a dark yellow. We're just slowly building it up. It takes time, so be patient. So there's the color, the traditional color matching, which is doing your own little page of colors. Or if you want to, there's an app called Color Pencil Picker. There's two of them. There's one that's pre-made, which has a lot of different sets already set up, or the custom one, which you'd fill out a page like this and make them nice and dark, scan it on a scanner, and then it will show you how to pick those colors. And what just fell? Oh, it was probably just a pencil sharpener. This guy's on my lap, the little kitten. He's just chilling. I love cats. It was the one thing I was sad about is because my husband's allergic to them. But he could have said no, but it sounds like we're going to try everything we can to keep him. Now I'm going to add a little bit of a light orange color, especially right here on the back, like the door. I'm trying to do a little bit more of a controlled motion, so I'm actually holding it a little bit closer to the tip of the pencil rather than the back of the pencil, because it's such a tiny little area that has this light orange shade to it. Hey, don't touch my tablet. If you guys have any questions during this live video, go ahead and comment and I will answer them as soon as I see them. Okay, now I'm just adding a little bit outward from that little line there. I'm holding it back at the very end of the pencil, doing some circular motions and very light pressure. I did a little bit more pressure when I was working on that one line, but yeah. And there's a little bit of a darker area right here too. It's almost like a triangular shape. It's dark on the very top part and then it gets a little bit lighter with that orange. We're almost done with the orange bits of the pencil here. Okay, I'm going to take the orange. Now I'm holding it by the tip and I'm putting quite a bit more pressure on there just to finish up with the color, building the color. It's called varnishing is what they call it. It's just to fill in all the gaps so there's no white poking through. And you only want to do this, you only want to do the really dark areas with that pressure. And then the next one, even if it looks more like the darker one that you just had, just go with a light, just a shade lighter for the next section. And then try to make it like a little bit of a gradual change in pressure so that it blends a little bit easier to the next section. So like do nice and hard pressure, and then just slowly as you go up, just make it lighter. And then we're going to go over those lighter areas with the shade that's a little bit lighter than it actually looks. I don't know if that makes any sense. I'm sorry. Words don't word with me today. Now I'm going to go with a lighter yellow. Just kind of go over those sections that we didn't put a ton of pressure on. And then we're going to try to blend it out a bit by doing a little bit of lighter pressure around that. And then we're going to use the cream next. We're going to do the rest of it, but leave the white out. So that little highlight at the top part, we're just going to preserve that. Don't go over it. Okay, I'm going to use a little bit of white over top of those highlights. And then just, there are some details that are kind of disappeared. So I'm going to go over those sections. Like I see a little bit of a white highlight right where that black line's going to be, or the dark line's going to be. If you have a hard time seeing the colors in certain sections, I'm going to show you another trick here right away. I'm just going to put these pencils over here. So you can take the reference picture and put it in an editing app. Let me just see if I can. You know what, I'm going to see if I can find a different device to do this, because I have something else going on my phone that I don't want to accidentally delete. Let's see, do we even have the image? Just give me a minute, I'm sorry. I am unprepared. I was working on a stencil and I don't want to accidentally lose all that work that I've done on the stencil. Hey, what do you think you're doing? So I'm talking to the cat. Anyways, I'll just describe it to you. This isn't working too well. So you go into the editing app and then you press like the color picker, and then it will show you the color that it is. So you do the color that it's closest to, and then you can just layer on some other colors to make it happen. Hey, oh stinker. So, and you add more layers of color to make it more, oh, come on. Cat's destroying my art room. Okay. I'm zooming into the image. Just zooming into the image on my phone so I can kind of see more about the colors that are in the black, like the line there. And it's a dark red and black that I see. So I'm going to start with the dark red. It's almost like a brown red. So I'm going to grab another piece of paper here so I don't smudge. Because these kind of pencils, they seem to smudge a little bit. That's okay, it's not a big deal. Make sure your pencil is nice and sharp for this, because we're doing really fine details at this point. And we can actually make it slightly bigger because this is also working as like a shadow between the two sections that meet. Okay, now that we got that, I'm going to take, this is a blending pencil. It's a colorless pencil. It is Prismacolor. And I'm just going to just follow the line a little bit with it and just go back and forth just to kind of soften up that line before we go into using the black. I don't know why, but my one eye has been watering a lot lately. I should probably go to the doctor and see what's going on. I don't think it's allergies, but it could be. Who knows? I don't have allergies as far as I know. And I'm going to take a black pencil. Sharpen it up, and then I'm going to try to do a more thinner line than we did before. Just make that nice and dark. I'm more focused on looking at the drawing itself so that I can get a nice smooth line a little bit easier. And now we're gonna go, well, I saw a couple of little dots here, so zoom in to see what color those are on my phone. They are pitch black, so I'm gonna add those little teeny tiny dots, and then we're gonna work on the little detailing of the car here pretty quick. Horsehair brush, they work quite well. It prevents smudging by accident. instead of rubbing your hand against it to get rid of those little pieces of, pieces of pencil shavings and whatever. Okay. It is slightly unaligned, but that's because I've been showing you guys how to align, like how to place it every time. So it's not going to be a big deal. Most people aren't going to notice, but I am going to move it a little bit to realign it. And I might need to do that multiple times for different sections. I did ask them if we could have like a nudge feature on the app. That way we can just do the slightest little adjustments as needed. Okay, we are switching up colors. We are no longer doing yellow. We are doing black, blue, and gray. I'm just looking at the little swatches I've done, and to me it looks like, ooh, it's a toss-up between two different ones. Well, I'm just going to say a dark blue. I'm just going to sharpen this up. You do not have to use the app to the full extent that I do. This is just something I enjoy doing. Kind of like the idea of like paint by number style. Like you can just do the outlines and then draw in whatever, like color it, shade it, whatever, the way you want it to be. But I love doing this. There's a light that's in the way of my TV, which is another thing I forgot to mention. I am streaming this on my smart TV so that I don't have to look at my phone, especially when it is so up high. You can also tilt your drawing surface and then your phone as well. It doesn't have to be perfectly parallel when you're using the AR mode. And that way you can get larger pieces that way too if you don't have a smart TV. Okay, there's not very many layers to this, so I am going to start varnishing it, putting a lot more pressure on it. Tight circular motions. I'm just doing the really darkest areas, and then I'm going to go in with that blue we used earlier and really fill that into doing the same thing. A lot of pressure and some circular motions. There is a really tiny highlight. I'm going to use a white pencil for that. You want to have sharp pencils. Really sharp pencil for this. I'm sorry, I'm just doing something real quick and I'll get back to drawing. Okay. Yeah, I'm just gonna put some white over top, get some of that highlights that I see, and then we're moving on to the next. These little pieces shouldn't take too long to do. The silver honestly looks more blue than gray in this picture. I'm going to use a light blue, the lightest blue I have. So there isn't really much white in this, so you can cover the entire section of this. There is a bit of a white section on the very far right bottom, so we can preserve that and then just fill in the rest. Really light pressure, nice tight circular motions. And yeah, we want to be able to build up more color, so that's why we're doing light pressure first. And we're going into the next lightest blue. And then we're going to preserve those highlighted areas of the light blue that we just did. So don't go over those. Still light pressure and circular motions. We go over everything that is that shade or maybe a little bit darker. And we're going to the next darker shade of blue. And again, just go in the areas that are that shade or darker. Don't go over the light areas. At this point, I am going to do a very, very light layer of gray. I need to get a gray that's actually lighter than this. Let me just practice to make sure. Very, very light because it's very dark. And I'm just going over that last layer that I did. Just kind of mute that blue a little bit. If you have a lighter gray than I do, you can just do the normal amount of pressure that you would do for a light layer. But I'm just barely touching the surface. Okay, next shade of blue, that is a little bit darker. You know what, I think I might go with the darkest blue I have at this point. That's purple. Actually, no, that would work. That would work. If you only have like 1 or 2 different blue shades, then you just add more layers to it, which will slowly build up the color. So you just do 1 layer and then you do the next layer over and over and over again, just to get the right shade. I think we did a pretty good job of this so far. So now we are going to go and use the black. This will help give it more dimension. Just adding a few more of those details, those little tiny details. Okay, now we're going to reverse engineer what we just did. So we're going to add a bit more pressure in those really dark areas, only for like the blackest blacks first. And then we're going to go darker and darker as we go. I am going to be using a bit of gray for some of these areas. Well, not darker and darker. We're going to go from dark to light. Sorry. Yeah, sorry. I did not mean to say that. Then if you wanted a little bit more of a blended look instead of like a sharp shape, then you just kind of do a lighter lighter pressure just around that area. If there's still a lot of gaps in those darker areas, just use a lighter color to kind of fill in the white little spots. We want to really push that color into the paper so we don't see much of the texture of the paper. And then now I'm going to go in with white and pick up some highlights, go over it. I'm using quite a bit of pressure for this. And now we're moving on to the next section. I'm going to work on that little detail on the top there, the little silver detail just above the tire. We're also going to do the tires at this time too, before we move on to the other side of the... Nah, man, I need a coffee. Somebody go make me a coffee and bring it to me. So we'll finish the entire car in one section at a time, moving our way from left to right. It does, going from left to right does help prevent smudging. And yes, some colored pencils do smudge. I'm using the lightest blue I have. There is some white that I see in this, but there's such a tiny little white sections that I'm not going to worry too much about preserving them. I'm going to try, but it might be a little extra hard. And then going in with a darker blue. I'm going to try to create the two different lines here, have them separated. But again, this is a very fine detail that I think it might be a little bit difficult to get. Make sure your pencils are nice and sharp for those really fine details. And now I'm going to do another line with gray. Again, trying to make it noticeable that there's two different lines going on. I'm actually going to use a white over it to blend it in, to varnish it. Now, there's one thing I forgot to do, and that was get my computer charging while I was working. So I need to quickly do that before it dies. Because if it dies, the live dies. Oh, I'm not doing that right now. See if I can extend this cord all the way over there, so I don't have to unplug it. I have a little hideaway computer desk. It's really handy. Okay. Is it charging? Yes, it is charging. This means it is time for a break in our video. Grab yourself a coffee, a tea, a water, whatever. Stretch your legs. We will be back shortly. My cat needs a break too. I just realized, again, thank you, Raven. You can't hear me. I am so sorry again. I always do that. I was also thinking about making sure I put the volume back on before I start talking as I was taking my break, and I still forgot. Oh my goodness, this is gonna be a non-stop thing, I bet. Okay. So quickly, we're doing a we are doing a art competition on Facebook. It's the Vinci Eye App Facebook group, and the submissions are in. We're just doing voting right now, so please vote. You can just look up my posts. There's plenty of links to the original post, and then just follow the instructions. What else was I saying? If you want to try the app for free for a year, go into the description. For the iOS, there's a link, and then you use the code charity in all caps. And if you have an Android, please email me, and make sure the subject line is Android code, and then I can make sure I answer those properly. I have a lot of junk mail, so sometimes things get lost in that. What do you mean what? What do you mean? Anyways, I'm not the developer. Sam is the developer. I am an artist that happens to really love using this app. So, yeah, an artist. So I asked him for a job, and now I'm here teaching, and I do a bunch of other things for them too. If you have any suggestions for future videos, whether that be the subject, I love doing portraits. That's the thing that I'm really good at, is portraits in pencil, graphite and colored pencil. But I am up for anything to get you guys started on your art journey. And also the mediums can, you can suggest mediums as well for those videos. So soft pastel, painting, even fabric painting. There's also a new paint that's called stained glass, which is super fun to do. Whatever, I will get you started. Might not get into fine details on how to do certain things, but at least it's a beginning step. Okay. So let's get started. All my portraits of girls look like hippies with dreadlocks, lol. I want to send me a picture of one of your current drawings, and then and your reference, and I'll see what I can do to help you out. I am more than happy to do one-on-one lessons through video call as well, through Facebook or whatever. And it won't cost you anything at the moment because I have lots of time. But if I get a whole bunch of people asking me to do it, then I might change my mind on pricing for that. But it's free for now, so take advantage of it when you can. Well, you can. You can find me on the Vinci Eye App Facebook group if you want that. Okay, I have a kitten that's fallen asleep in my hands, so yeah. Just a tiny little thing. Look at this little thing. I know you guys just saw him, but he's just so tiny. He's just a tiny little thing. Sorry. I love cats. Now we're going to do the tire. I'm just going to move this light out of the way. It's in the way of my view. Okay, we're going to work on the tire. I'm going to work on it as a whole instead of little sections. And again, this is more blue than silt, like gray. So we're going to start with the lightest blue we have. There isn't much for white highlights. In fact, I don't think we have any. There might be a little bit of white highlights. But they're so small. Not too worried about it. So we're going to do super light pressure with the lightest blue you have. Super light pressure, like you barely even notice it on the page. Am I using pastel pencils? No. When I mean pastel, I mean super light colors. But this is Faber-Castell polychromes. But you don't need to really worry about the colored pencil set you have. I'm not going to be saying like actual particular colors here because the names of colors are going to vary for stuff. Now we're going into a little bit of a darker blue, still on the light side, and we're going to do light pressure, but now we're going to preserve some of those highlights as best as we can. There's a lot of detail in this, so I'm not too worried about being perfect. We'll worry a little bit more about that when we come to doing the super dark areas. These ones look like they're soft and easy to use. These ones are not actually soft pencils. The softer ones are Prismacolor, and I believe that the Prismacolor is wax-based, and these ones are oil-based. But these ones keep their tip, like, because it's a harder core, they keep the sharp, they stay sharp longer. So you can do finer details. And it also kind of helps with the blending technique, which isn't really necessarily blending itself. It's just layer building that makes the illusion of blending. And the more layers you put on with a light pressure, the more blended it will look. It's a technique. It's a technique to develop. Just keep practicing. Another thing to know is I believe that Faber-Castell is a lot more color fast. Like it's will last longer if it's in the light of like sunlight than Prismacolor, and Prismacolor will also give off, sometimes will give like a white waxy layer after a while. I think they call it blooming is what it's called. So it won't stay vivid. Like there's a possibility that it won't be vivid for very long. But the positives with Prismacolor is they are initially super vivid, and not that you can't get that with Faber-Castell, and they do blend more, especially if you use the colorless pencil blender tool. You could also get, for both pencils, you can also get like a solution, water or a liquid solution that you just brush on top. That gives it more of a painted or marker like look to it. Eventually I would like to buy some of that to kind of show you how that works. So now that we're getting into more of the darker shades of blue, I am trying my best to get some of those little details. What kind of trouble are you getting into? The things you learn. I've been trying my best to watch. Hey, what are you doing? Doing up? Doing up? Come on up here. I've been trying my best to watch videos that are about things that I'm currently working on so that I can learn more about the subject. And I'm also trying to remember to tell you guys the things that I think are most helpful. Are you eating my microphone? You shouldn't eat my microphone. I don't even think the microphone works. I think it's just the microphone that's built into one of the cameras. These videos, at least for me, they go by super fast. Again, as I'm getting into the darker shades, I am focusing on smaller details as I go. Again, it doesn't really have to be perfect. You can decide how detailed you want to get. That is totally up to you. That's part of being an artist. You can draw forever and ever and ever on one piece, and then the artist, what makes you the artist is when you decide when to stop. You want to see the cat? You want to see the cat? Here's the cat. Come on, look up. Look up. We don't have a name for him yet, and we're probably not naming him for another like 3 weeks because we don't know if we're gonna keep him. So I went outside to fill up my van with some stuff for a show, like a market that I went to. My daughter came out with me and this cat walks up to us. And then I go inside, I'm like, Jason, there's a cat outside, he's super friendly. And he goes outside, or at least tries to go outside, and the cat just walks in. So then we're like, well, we don't want to leave it outside if he doesn't belong to anybody. So we brought him inside. I went to like Facebook, to my local Facebook pages to see if anybody was missing the cat. We did find the original owners, but they were going to find a new home for him anyways. So at least I know I'm not stealing somebody's cat. Let me just see this. Grace says Sprinkles. I don't know. Is Sprinkles a good name? Oh, you want to be free now? Are you done? You can be free. He's a boy. I think that would be... You think Sprinkles is a good name for a boy? I could see it. I named my dog Cinnamon when I had him, and we weren't quite sure if Cinnamon was a good boy name, but it just kind of stuck. So Grace, no, is it Gracie? She's the girl that you post on your Facebook every so often, right? Ow! Do you want up or do you want down? Or do you just want to scratch my leg to bits? You're usually pretty good. No. I am not furniture, and even then, I don't want you scratching up my furniture. It's a little troublemaker right now, this little thing. She says yes, and she is so excited to be thinking, talking to you on TV. Oh, it's always fun when I watch other people and then they say my name and they say hi. It's really fun. I think that's one of the like charms about TikTok and other live streaming platforms is that you can interact with people. You're such a stinker right now. Oh my goodness. I put you down and then you try to climb back up me, and then when you're up on me, you're just attacking me. Ow. He was so good for the most part when we first brought him inside. I think he's just bored. He needs a toy. She wants me to tell you she's on TikTok. That's fun. Already a TikToker, eh? My son wants to be a TikToker. Well, he says he wants to be a YouTuber. He does lots of videos, but I'm not quite ready for him to do his own thing on the internet. This process takes a long time. So just be patient with yourself. Don't rush. You have a art kitty. Yeah. Gracie loves your car. Oh, thank you. We're almost ready for black. I think I might do gray first. I'm going to go back to a lighter shade and just fill in the outer edge of the rim. Okay, I'm gonna go in with gray first. Just kind of mute the blue a little bit. And then also kind of map out the shapes that are black. And then I'm going to go over the entire space except for the really bright highlights. Just some light, very, very, very lighter than usual circular motions. And I do this because my gray is awfully dark, like really, really dark. So I need to be very careful. And then back to doing some of the finer details with a little bit more pressure. I am not too worried about doing circular motions because these details are so tiny. I'm in my own mind right now because I'm just repeating everything over and over and over again. I feel like I sound like a broken record, but I'm sure it's quite helpful when I tell you exactly what I'm doing and why I'm doing it at that moment. Yeah, and I'm just focusing on creating the shapes of the really dark sections and with the gray, and then I'll go over it with black to give it a little bit more dimension, more depth to it, more contrast. I wonder why my toolbar just disappeared. Actually, I don't think that's necessarily a bad thing to have that disappear, because then you can see more. And now we're gonna go in with black just to really make these details pop. I'm more focused on looking at the drawing itself at this point. I am putting quite a bit of pressure, kind of varnishing at this point too. And also, if you have another device or you just print off the picture, you don't have to focus too much about the app. And just use your own eyes to just get these little details. Your message was restricted. Why? I wonder why they're doing that. Sometimes it's over the silliest things too, especially recently. It's getting worse. I'm getting the little bolts that are in here. Don't touch my screen. We're almost ready to go and varnish the rest of it. Starting with the darkest color. And I'm putting on quite a bit of pressure now, just to build up, get like the vibrant colors that we want. Now I'm using a lighter blue and just building on top of that, as well as moving on to newer sections that are a bit lighter than what we were just working on. I'm wondering, because I can't think of anything that you would have said to make YouTube mad, because we don't talk about certain subjects here. I'm wondering if they get mad for you message links, commenting on it a lot. I know some social media platforms are like that. Like I don't know which one it is, but sometimes I go around and just like the Vinci Eye App videos that are posted, and I comment on every single one of them, just to kind of push it through the algorithm a little bit more. That's why I do that. And then it goes, "You've commented too much. We think you are a bot." And I was like, why would you think I'm a bot? Why don't you think I'm just wanting to chat a lot today for some reason? I'm using the lightest blue at this point just to fill in the rest and then preserve the whites areas. Now we'll work on the actual tire itself. Just zoom out a bit, just to see it as a whole. You know what, I think I might go in with the white and just get some of those highlights. Just overlapping it where I see the highlights. And I'm putting quite a bit of pressure on them. Okay, it is a very dark blue for the highlights of the tire itself. Just looking to see. I'm going to start with a really light blue, just on this section right here. The lightest blue I have, because there is some very small amount of highlights, bright highlights there. Very small amount. And there's almost a undertone of a green too. Let me just see what I can, which one would work best. There's an undertone of green on this side. Like, I don't want the tire to be pure black, because then it's just flat if you do that. So I'm just really looking for some undertones. I see black, but I see another color with it as well. So it's a thing that you need to practice to be able to see. Okay, where else can I see that undertone? Just underneath the blue here. Let me see a bit of that green as well. I'm starting to get hungry. I didn't really have breakfast this morning, but my stomach hasn't been agreeing with me, so I kind of skipped it. Now I'm going to go with my darkest blue, and I'm going to go in that one section that I saw the blue in the first place, and do more of the outer part of that circle and leaving some of the space with that light blue for the highlight. And I see that blue extend onto the other side as well, that dark blue, as an undertone to the black. Now we can go in with black and finish the rest. I'm also going to do the underside of the car while I'm at it, because that's also black. Right now we're just doing some light pressure to help build up the color and also the shape. Just going to check something here real quick. Oh, stop touching my screen. I have a control screen just in front of me and the cat's pawing at it. Are you done? Are you done laying on me? No, you just want to reposition yourself. Okay. So just slowly building up. Just slowly. Ow. Hey, I am not furniture, so don't claw on me. No, stop it. Sorry, distracted by the cat. Again, we can't really have him unattended. My husband went out with the kids while I was doing a live video, and we can't have him wandering the house just for the fact that we have birds. And yes, it has gone after the birds a couple times now. I'm just gonna finish this layer of black, and then yeah, you can take a look at the entire piece for how far we've gotten so far. It is going to take quite a bit of time to get this completed. So if you want to draw along with me, go back into some of the videos, catch up so that we can draw this at the same time together. That was the kind of the point of these videos, is for you to draw alongside with me. View 1. Oh, let's move that out of the way. And view 2. So we're getting pretty close, but it is going to take some time still. Thanks for joining me today. I am planning to now continue doing some live videos on a weekly basis on Fridays from 10 to 12 Mountain Time. Yeah, please join me. Don't forget, don't hesitate to ask questions at any time. I'm on the Facebook group. You have my email in the description and everything. So yeah, you guys have a wonderful day, and thank you for all the support. See you next week.